Unexpected text reveals heartwarming discovery. Billionaire steps in to support pregnant stranger. Emma's fingers trembled as she glanced down at her phone. The bright screen flashed the message. "Hey, I think I texted the wrong number. Are you still interested in that investment opportunity?" A small laugh burst from her lips, not out of amusement, but disbelief. A text meant for someone entirely different had landed in her hands, and it felt like a glimpse of fortune. She shoved the phone back in her pocket, the weight of bills resting heavily on her shoulders as she prepared for another shift at the diner. She wiped a few stray tears away, reminding herself of why she worked so hard. 5-year-old Lily bounced in her mind, her giggles like music, reminding Emma of the light at the end of the tunnel. A steady job at the Maple Street diner paid the bills, even if it meant juggling a growing pile of them with her unexpected pregnancy. She took a deep breath, plastering on her work smile, ready to tackle another whirlwind of a shift. "Coffee? Pie? You bet!" she'd sing through gritted teeth. Days turned into weeks, and that mysterious text lingered, stirring her curiosity. Eventually, she mustered the courage to respond. "That wasn't meant for me, but I'm definitely interested in better opportunities." The back and forth that followed opened the floodgates. Alex, a name she learned only after a handful of exchanged words, resonated with Emma's struggles. Behind the sleek exterior of a Wall Street giant was a man afraid of his own roots, looking to escape loneliness through the shimmering filters of wealth. Their conversations turned into a refuge, a daily escape from the judgmental stares in town, the whispers that she was failing. "You don't seem like a failure," Alex typed one night. "You seem incredibly strong." His words, though coming through a screen, wrapped around her heart like a warm hug. She hesitated, remembering the weight of acceptance, fear that help would come at a cost, afraid to let anyone too close. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." But then came the annual town fair, a cacophony of laughter and colorful lights that tugged at her heartstrings. Standing at the edge of the gathering, the delicious sense of fried dough and the sound of children's squeals kicked up memories of simpler times. The ice cream truck parked outside, the unending summer days filled with joy. Alex had shown interest in making the trip to visit her, but fear rose like a tide within her. Would he find her unworthy? Would the town judge them, a billionaire and a waitress tied together by circumstance? As Emma stood there, a flurry of emotions crashed over her. Would she accept help from a stranger, even if he understood her in a way no one else did? The crowd buzzed around her, the familiar faces watching her intently. Alex raced toward her, a blend of hope and anxiety etched on his face. She felt her heart pounding, a wild rhythm echoing everything she had been trying to hide. Little Lily slipped through the throng, her innocent curiosity shining like a beacon as she moved closer to the burgeoning conversation. Emma's chest tightened. Could she ultimately allow herself to be vulnerable in front of those who thought they knew her story? And would Alex find the courage to step back into the warmth of his hometown and offer the hand she desperately needed? The air was thick with anticipation, leaving everyone, Emma, Alex, and the onlookers, waiting for a moment that could forever change their lives. Just then, the whirlwind around Emma seemed to pause. She turned to face Alex, his form cutting through the vibrant distractions of the fair. He was real, alive with anticipation, and for that brief instant, the worries of the world around them blurred into irrelevance. What if he sees me as just a waitress? The thought gnawed at her. Emma's heart raced as she noted the fine lines of concern on his forehead and the way his eyes searched for something in her. She took a deep breath, reminding herself that this was just a man like any other, someone who had reached out with sincerity. "Emma," he called out, his voice steady but laced with an urgency that sent her nerves dancing. "I'm so glad to finally be here." The crowd swirled on, children darted by, and the laughter of friends echoed. But for Emma, time felt suspended. She swallowed down her self-doubt, feeling Lily's tiny hand slip into hers. Her daughter's presence encouraged her, grounding her in the moment. "Hi," Emma managed, her voice softer than she intended, a whisper lost amid the din of the fair. But Alex stepped closer, his smile expansive and genuine, as if he was pulling her into his world if only for a moment. "Is this the famous Lily?" he asked, stooping down to meet her daughter's curious eyes. Lily nodded vigorously, her ponytail bouncing with enthusiasm. "Yes, I'm 4 and I like ice cream," she said, her innocent proclamation juxtaposed against Emma's swirling thoughts. Emma watched as Alex fit in, effortlessly kneeling next to her daughter, their laughter blending in a way that eased the tension in Emma's shoulders. It struck her, the warmth radiating from this unexpected trio, the discomfort began to melt away, even if just a little. "Shall we get some ice cream then?" Alex suggested, his gaze flicking to Emma expectantly. She felt a flutter of fear but equally an urge to say yes, to take this small step toward something new. Lily squealed, tugging on his hand, and that playful energy became the bridge Emma needed. "Okay, let us do it," she said, a brave smile breaking through her initial hesitation. The trio turned toward the bright lights of the ice cream booth, laughing and jostling through the crowds as they moved. It struck Emma how unguarded she felt beside Alex. He treated her with respect, sitting side by side on the weathered wooden benches, encouraging her to share about Lily, her life, and her dreams, and suddenly, the weight of the world felt a bit lighter. "What do you love most about being a mom?" Alex asked between ice cream licks, his expression earnest and inviting. Emma paused, the answer becoming clearer in her mind. "Seeing her smile when she tries something new. It's like rewinding a little bit. Simple joys," she said, the words coming easily now. "You sound incredibly strong," Alex replied with genuine admiration, but then he added softly, "even when you don't feel that way." His words sank deep, opening a wellspring of vulnerability within her. Emma looked at Alex and saw not just the billionaire behind a screen, but a man willing to step beyond judgments, to understand her world. But just as a comforting warmth began to envelop her heart, a voice called her name from the crowd. "Emma!" A familiar tone sliced through her moment of clarity. The voice belonged to Jenna, one of the diner's regulars, whose judgmental eye had pierced through Emma's facade more than once. Emma's heart sank. What would Jenna say about this? Would Alex feel the judgment in the air, or worse, would he pull away? The moment felt precarious. Emma was teetering on the edge of either acceptance or rejection. "Emma!" The voice grew closer, and Emma felt the eyes around her shift like shadows. It was time to make a choice. Would she embrace this connection with Alex, or would the fear of judgment hold her back? Before she could answer, Jenna broke into their bubble with a skeptical smile. The air around them crackled with uncertainty, leaving Emma wondering. Could she defy expectations? Could she hold on to this moment and nurture the bond forming with Alex, or would the judgments of her past pull her back? Emma's pulse quickened as Jenna approached, her familiar smirk slicing through the lightness Alex had brought. She felt a knot tighten in her stomach, an old defense mechanism kicking in. Jenna never missed a chance to remind Emma of the gaps in her life. "Emma! There you are. I thought I'd find you." Jenna's voice dripped with feigned sweetness, barely masking the judgment underneath. "Who's your friend?" Her piercing gaze shifted to Alex, appraising him like he was a new dish on the diner's menu, ready to be critiqued. "This is Alex," Emma said, forcing the words out, aware of the way Jenna's brow raised slightly. "He's visiting the fair." It was a weak introduction, but she wasn't ready to unpack the complexities of who he really was. Not just yet. "Oh, visiting, huh? So you're not local?" Jenna leaned closer, probing, her curiosity almost palpable. The air felt heavy, and Emma caught Alex's eyes, an unspoken pact passing between them, a silent plea for support. "I'm actually from out of town," Alex replied smoothly, his smile unwavering, "but I came here to see more of the community." There was confidence in his tone, a warmth that contrasted with Jenna's coldness. Jenna's smile faltered, then quickly returned, but Emma caught the hint of skepticism simmering beneath. Well, you're in for a real treat. Emma knows all the best spots around here, Jenna said, her eyes flicking back to Emma, as if trying to establish dominion over the conversation. Lily, sensing the tension, pulled at Emma's arm. Can we go get more ice cream now, Mommy? Her little face was oblivious to the underlying current, a beam of innocence and joy that tugged at Emma's heart. Of course, sweetie. Emma instinctively moved to take Lily's hand, grateful for her daughter's pure spirit offering her comfort amidst the awkwardness. Alex stood, brushing off Jenna's presence with a casualness that made Emma appreciate him more. How about we make it a group outing? Lily, what flavor should we get? Chocolate, Lily exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. And in that moment, Emma saw the genuine connection forming. Alex's attention shifted fully to her daughter, diverting away from Jenna's scrutiny as they walked towards the booth. Jenna's voice called after them. Emma, don't keep us in the dark. Just remember, not everyone is what they seem. The warning hung in the air, a bitter aftertaste that clung to Emma's ambition of rekindling possibility. Emma's resolve wavered. Did Jenna's words mean something? Should she shield her heart from Alex? But as Lily chatted happily beside him, Emma felt a flicker of hope rise within her. Maybe this was different. Maybe Alex's kindness was a testament to the good she had been missing in her life. They reached the booth, and Alex turned to Emma, his voice low but laced with optimism. You know, you and Lily make a great team. I can see how much she adores you. A warmth spread through Emma. Alex didn't see her as just a waitress. He saw her as a mother, capable and devoted. Perhaps Jenna was wrong. Perhaps this moment wasn't just a fleeting distraction. It could turn into something more. Before she could respond, the sounds of the fair enveloped them again. Laughter echoed, bright lights flickered, and the smell of caramel wafted in the air. For a split second, there was no judgment, only the joy of being together. But as they turned from the ice cream booth, the same familiar sensation bubbled up in Emma, a fear she couldn't quite shake off. What if Alex only liked them for today? What if tomorrow he vanished, taking the warmth with him? Emma took a breath, glancing at him and Lily, pondering her next move. Alex, but the weight of her words stalled, hanging in the air between them. What would she say? Could she allow herself to hope? The fair around them continued its wild dance, urging her to decide. Would she let her heart soar? Or would she pull back, allowing fear to snuff out the light of this unexpected moment? As Alex turned towards her, his gaze steady and encouraging, the choice bore down heavily on her. What if she let go? What if she embraced the risk? Emma took a moment to breathe, her heart fluttering like the colorful flags flapping in the summer breeze above them. She could almost feel each pulse of the fair vibrating beneath her feet, a rhythm that mingled with the anxious beats of her heart. Alex, she started again, the sound of his name comforting on her tongue. She hesitated, caught between the thrill of this moment and the cold grip of doubt tightening around her heart. But in his gaze, she found an anchor, a hopeful place that made her want to lean in not just as a mother, but as a woman. What if we tried a couple of flavors? Alex suggested, his eyes sparkling with mischief, breaking the tension that hung around them. Lily, do you think we could handle chocolate and vanilla together? A double delight? Lily giggled, her innocent joy breaking through Emma's reservations. Yes, she squealed, jumping a little in excitement. All right then. Emma finally smiled, her heart warming. The thought of Alex sharing this experience with them created a ripple of happiness that spread from her chest, buoying her hopes. Maybe this was possible. Maybe she could let someone in. Let us do it. As they approached the booth, the scoops of ice cream looked like colorful jewels in the sunlight. The vendor, an older man with a welcoming smile, greeted them. What can I get you lovely folks today? He asked, his eyes sparkling with genuine cheer. Emma stepped forward first, her smile growing when she thought about the decadent combination of chocolate. A chocolate and vanilla scoop for me and for my daughter, how about the same? As they placed the order, Alex leaned closer to Emma. You look really great when you smile. It lights up your face. The words slipped out effortlessly, and for a brief moment, the world around them faded away. Emma felt warmth spread through her, turning her cheeks the slightest shade of pink. "Thanks," she managed to say, feeling raw and exposed but also exhilarated. The ice cream cones were handed over, their coolness balancing the warm sun. Each scoop melted just a little faster than they could eat. As Lily dug in, her little fingers danced along the cone, gliding through the thick chocolate drizzle and melting vanilla that dripped down the sides. She twisted her head back, eyes wide. "Mommy, look how fast I can eat it." The laughter bubbled out of Emma, floating upwards like the clouds above. It was pure. It was beautiful. As she looked at Alex, laughing with Lily while holding his own cone, she wondered if perhaps moments like this were worth the risk. But the nagging worry still lurked behind her excitement. Jenna's words echoed in the back of her mind. What if this was just a fleeting joy? What if he left, taking that warmth with him? "Hey, look over there." Alex interrupted her thoughts, pointing towards a cluster of colorful tents. "They're a place where they're giving away free balloons. We should go grab one for Lily. It'll make her day." "Yes, a balloon," Lily erupted with enthusiasm, her eyes lighting up like fireworks. Emma couldn't help but join in their excitement, a smile blooming on her face. "Lead the way, Alex," she said, letting herself be swept along by their fervor, but internally she wrestled with herself. As they strolled towards the booths, Emma fought the urge to clamp down on her feelings. What if she just let herself enjoy the moment? "Emma, can I ask you something?" Alex's voice broke through her thoughts. "Sure," she replied, her heart racing again. Waiting for the other shoe to drop, he hesitated, weighing his words. "What do you want most right now?" The question wrapped around her, a tangible thing that demanded an answer. And as Emma opened her mouth to respond, a little voice in her head urged her to be honest. But what was her heart truly wanting? The voice pressed on a whisper blending with the sounds of laughter and music around them. Would she dare to voice her deepest desire, or would she retreat into the safety of uncertainty? I think she began, looking into his eyes, ready to reveal a piece of her truth. But before she could finish, her phone chimed in her pocket, interrupting her fragile moment. With a mix of irritation and curiosity, she pulled it out and stared at the screen. The message was from Jenna, and as Emma reread the words, her heart dropped. What could she possibly mean now? "Alex," she said slowly, feeling the color drain from her face. "What is it?" he asked, concern etched on his features. Emma took a deep breath, barely able to focus on how to respond. Sometimes the past refused to stay quiet, and as the fair buzzed around them, Emma felt the ground shift beneath her, aware that the revelation ahead could fracture the moment they had begun to build together. What did Jenna want now? And how would it change everything? Emma's fingers trembled as she read the text a second time, her breath catching in her throat. How could Jenna's words feel so heavy, so loaded? "I need you to come home. It's important. I can't do this without you." The words echoed in her mind like a gong striking, reverberating through her thoughts. Her eyes, once drawn into the warmth of Alex's smile and Lily's laughter, now sharpened with anxiety. What could possibly be so urgent? The worry crawled back, a familiar shadow settling over her heart. "Emma?" Alex's voice pulled her back, his brow furrowing with concern. "What's going on?" She hesitated, the answer stuck like a lump in her throat. Should she share this? Should she burden him with her chaos? It's Jenna. Before she finished her sentence, Lily tugged at her dress, pulling her attention away. "Mommy, can I have a balloon now?" Alex crouched down to Lily's level, a warm smile on his face. "How about a big one? The biggest balloon they have." Emma watched the excitement bubble in her daughter's eyes, the innocence of childhood shining through the jagged edges of her tumultuous thoughts. This wasn't about her. It was about Lily, and serving as this joyful parent she aspired to be. Swallowing her worry, she managed a smile. "Yes, sweetie. We'll get one right now." As they continued toward the booth, Emma felt the tension in her chest ease just a bit. The swirl of colors around them, the vibrant balloons, bright games, and laughter was a reminder of life's little joys. A reminder that sometimes, you had to focus on what's in front of you instead of what lurked behind you. Lily picked out a red balloon, its strings slipping through her tiny fingers as she squealed with delight. Alex stepped up beside Emma, quietly handing her a small, playful smile as her heart fluttered once more. "You okay?" he asked, and even though his voice was low, it held that patient strength she had come to admire. She nodded, trying to shake off the uncertainty wrapping around her heart like a heavy blanket. "Just the usual, I guess. A bit of past drama." His gaze softened as if he understood more than she was willing to admit. Sometimes those pasts can teach us important lessons. It's what we do with that knowledge that matters. Emma drew in a breath, savoring the sweetness of this simple moment shared with him. "You always seem to know what to say. Only because I've had my share of messy situations too," he replied with a hint of vulnerability. Just then, Lily's giggles erupted again as she tried to juggle her balloon and ice cream cone at the same time. For a moment, Emma watched her, a wave of warmth flooding through her. Perhaps she could find a way to navigate her tangled feelings, not just for herself, but for Lily too. "You're right," she finally said, returning her focus to Alex and his comforting presence. "It's just I want to be present for her." "Then be present," he encouraged as they continued walking. "You're doing great, Emma. Give yourself some grace." As they reached a nearby table, Emma took a seat, feeling her heart relax. Alex settled next to her, Lily bouncing around happily, her ice cream cone nearly gone but joyfully smeared all over her face. "Can we go on the Ferris wheel next?" Lily asked with wide eyes. A gentle laugh escaped Emma as she nodded, glancing at Alex. "What do you think? Should we?" "Absolutely. I'll race you both there," he said, jumping up in mock enthusiasm, and Lily sprinted off, competing with Alex's long strides as Emma watched them run. She felt a surge of happiness. In this moment, her heart wasn't burdened by Jenna or whatever awaited her on that screen. It was just laughter. But as the laughter faded into the background, Emma's mind flickered back to the text. What would Jenna say if she found out about Alex? Would it even matter? "Oh, Emma, you've got this," she whispered to herself, determination flooding in. "Just focus on now." But just as she did, her phone buzzed again, pulling her focus back. With hesitant fingers, she glanced at the screen. "Don't forget about the meeting tomorrow. We have to talk." Emma's heart sank and questions flooded in. What was the meeting really about? And where did that leave them? "Alex," she whispered, worry creeping back in. The sound of the fair around her faded, and she was left with one thought: was the past truly ready to let her go? And as Alex turned back, joy lighting up his face, Emma was left wondering if she could truly embrace this newfound happiness, or if the shadow of her past was about to catch up with her once again. Emma's phone was alive with buzzing, a constant reminder of the urgency crawling into the corners of her mind. She glanced again at the text, her stomach twisting in knots as the laughter of the carnival faded into a haunting echo. The vibrant colors of the fairground began to blur together, and the happiness that had been radiating moments before felt suddenly fragile. "Mommy, look, they have a clown!" Lily squealed, dragging Emma's attention back to the present. The little girl hopped up and down, her eyes shining at the sight of a brightly painted entertainer, twisting balloons into shapes. Emma's heart fluttered at the sight. The innocence of her daughter was a balm to her racing thoughts. "Sweetie, let's go see," she said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. As they walked over, she felt Alex's hand brush against hers. It was a simple touch, yet it carried weight, anchoring her to this moment, providing a flicker of warmth amid rising tension. "Hey," Alex leaned in close, his voice just above a whisper. "Whatever it is, I'm here. You don't have to carry it alone." For a second, Emma considered telling him everything: the text, Jenna's ultimatum, the fear that gnawed at her. But instead, she simply nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude for his understanding. Lily was entranced by the clown now, giggling uncontrollably as he created a balloon dog right before her eyes. Emma watched her daughter, reminded that these moments were fleeting and precious. But as the clown waved and moved on to the next group of excited children, Emma's mind drifted back. Her phone buzzed again, another reminder of her complicated past. "Come on, let us go on the Ferris wheel," Lily shouted, pulling Emma's hand excitedly. "Sure," Emma replied, trying her best to sound upbeat. They started toward the ride, but as they passed a food stand, the scent of cinnamon and sugar filled the air. She halted, her breath catching. "I want cotton candy," Lily exclaimed, pointing. Alex smiled, and without a word, he bought a massive fluffy pink confection. Lily's eyes lit up, and as she spun around with her treat, Emma noticed for the first time how Alex's smile seemed to come naturally, soothing the undercurrents in her heart. "Here, sugar," he said, handing a piece to Lily, who practically glowed with delight. Emma watched them, and the feeling hit her this could be her new life if only she could step away from the cemented fears of her past. But could she truly step away? Could she dig deep enough to let go of the worries that had cast dark shadows? "Alex," she started, her voice barely above a whisper. As she hesitated again, her heart urged her to open up, to lean into the support he offered, but the baggage still lingered on her shoulders. Before she could finish, her phone buzzed once more. This time it was a call from Jenna. Emma inhaled sharply as Lily danced around with her cotton candy. "Do you want me to get that?" Alex offered, sensing her sudden change in energy. "No," Emma affirmed, perhaps a bit too sharply, but she quickly softened. I need a moment." "All right," he nodded gently, stepping back respectfully. Alone now, she looked at the flashing screen, Jenna's name glowing ominously. Did she really want to answer, or did she want to just walk away from all of it? Taking a deep breath, Emma felt a choice pull at her, the choice to reclaim her life, to choose joy over fear. But the moments she had spent running were piling up like a snowball, and she hadn't yet decided whether to stop it, or let it roll over her completely. With the call still ringing, she hesitated, battling against her own thoughts. Was addressing this call going to bring resolution or more turmoil? "Emma, are we going or what?" Lily's voice yanked her from her thoughts, excitedly coming back from Alex, who was grinning. She pocketed her phone, the choice still looming. "Let us go," she said, trying for enthusiasm. But as they headed back toward the Ferris wheel, the weight of the call hung like a dark cloud over her, and questions bubbled to the surface. Would this be just a fairy tale moment, or the beginning of something much bigger, something that could pull her down once more into uncertainty? "Ready for the ride of your life?" Alex asked, stepping close. His eyes sparkled, offering distraction, but Emma still felt the gnawing anxiety. Yes, moments of laughter and joy were all around her, but was she truly prepared to face whatever awaited her with Jenna? Or would she risk losing this newfound happiness she so dearly wanted? And as the Ferris wheel began to spin into the sky, she clutched the metal bar, heart racing. Did she dare to look down at her past or simply focus on the heights ahead? As they rose higher on the Ferris wheel, the ground below turned into a blur of twinkling lights and moving bodies. Emma clutched the metal bar tightly, feeling the wind whip through her hair. It was invigorating and terrifying all at once. She glanced at Lily, whose eyes were wide with wonder, soaking in every detail of the vibrant carnival stretched out beneath them. For a moment, Emma could almost forget the phone call and everything that came with it. "Look, Mommy, we can see everything," Lily shouted, pointing at the spinning rides and the flickering lights. Emma forced a smile, but her heart weighed heavy with the unresolved tension. Alex sat beside her, his presence a calm in the whirlwind of her thoughts. "You okay?" he asked, his voice gentle amidst the whir of machinery. "Yeah, just a little high up," she replied, offering him a light laugh to mask her anxiety. He raised an eyebrow, knowing she was holding back. "Just breathe. Take it all in." She nodded, looking out into the distance. The carnival felt like a dream, and yet a part of her was tethered to her reality. A reality that pulsed insistently with unanswered questions. The Ferris wheel creaked as they reached the top, the view spectacular. But fear crept back in, overshadowed by the shadow of the impending call. A thought struck her: what if answering that call could change everything? What if it could lead to some sort of closure? Emma? Alex's voice broke into her thoughts. You know you can share anything with me, right? The sincerity in his voice cut through her worries. His words gave her a bit of courage, and she considered confessing her fears. Before she could muster the strength, the wheel began its descent, and she felt her heart racing, a mix of exhilaration and dread. When they reached the ground, Lily clapped her hands, her joy infectious. Can we go again? She asked, bouncing with excitement. Sure, but let us check out the games first, Alex suggested, drawing their attention away from the ride. The idea of playing games felt lighter, more manageable somehow. As they wandered toward the booths, Emma's phone buzzed again, pulling her back into that murky territory. Ignoring it felt futile, and she found herself torn between the needs of her daughter and the voice on the other end that held the power to upend her fragile happiness. Just a minute, okay? She said, as she pulled out her phone, hesitating before pressing answer. The call connected, and Jenna's voice broke through. Emma, I need to talk to you. Can we meet? Her tone was sharp, demanding. A knot tightened in Emma's stomach. There was no going back now. Is this about the text? She replied, trying to keep her voice steady. Yes, it is, Jenna said, a hint of urgency in her voice. We need to discuss some things about the past. Emma could hear Alex and Lily in the background, their laughter mixing with her growing unease. I'll think about it, she responded, her heart hammering. She hung up and stared at the screen, her world tilting once more. Everything all right? Alex asked, concern etching his features. It's complicated, she admitted, feeling frustration bubble in her chest. Just then, Lily tugged at her arm. Mommy, can we play that game? The one with the ducks? Before she could respond, Emma felt suddenly overwhelmed. Her daughter's innocent joy contrasted sharply with the storm gathering in her heart. Choosing between moments of happiness and the burdens of the past felt impossible. Okay, sweetie, let us go, Emma answered, forcing herself to smile. Yet, as they walked, tension bubbled when she realized that this decision, this moment of distraction, might only be a temporary refuge. With each step away from the game booth, Emma felt the pull of her reality deepening. It lingered, a whisper of inevitability that clawed at her mind. Could she keep finding solace in the joy of carnival lights, or would she finally have to confront Jenna and the mess she had left behind? As they reached the booth and Lily eagerly pointed out stuffed creatures hanging on hooks, Emma took a deep, steadying breath. She could feel Alex watching her, a reassuring strength. But would it be enough to help her face the truth? And as Lily squealed in delight and reached for a plush toy, Emma silently braced herself for what lay ahead, knowing that any moment could lead to a crossroads where joy met the shadows of her past. In that moment, she realized she could no longer run. What awaited her would determine everything. Emma led Lily to the game booth, her heart racing, not from the thrill of the carnival, but from the weight of her decision pressing down on her. The sound of cheerful music and laughter surrounded them, creating a vibrant backdrop that felt strangely disconnected from her internal chaos. Look at all the ducks, Lily exclaimed, her blue eyes shining with excitement. She pointed at the colorful plush toys bobbing in a small pool, their bright colors a stark contrast to Emma's swirling emotions. Which one do you want, sweetie? Emma asked, forcing enthusiasm into her voice. Lily leaned closer to the edge of the booth, her tiny hand stretched out, pointing to a fluffy pink duck with sparkly eyes. That one. Can I have that one? Emma glanced at Alex, who stood beside her, a small smile playing on his lips. Absolutely, let us win it for her, he said, tossing a few coins into the game operator's hand. As Alex took aim and began tossing rings onto the floating ducks, Emma's mind wandered. She watched the playful way he interacted with Lily, his laughter infectious. It was moments like these that made her heart swell, yet the shadows of uncertainty loomed larger. Mommy, look, he got one. Lily squealed as Alex successfully hooked a ring around a duck. Emma's heart fluttered at the sight of Lily's joy, a pure distraction that temporarily pushed away the heaviness that had settled in her chest. Great job, Alex, Emma cheered, her smile genuine as she leaned into the moment. But as they played, the tension in Emma's body remained. Jenna's voice echoed in her mind, a constant reminder of the conversation that would eventually need to happen. What did she wanted from Emma? Closure? An apology? The uncertainty gnawed at her, refusing to be ignored. Lily danced around, clutching her new plush duck, her laughter ringing out like music. Emma felt a surge of guilt wash over her. How could she be a source of joy for her daughter when her own spirit felt so heavy? The contrast was stark and it stung. "Do you want to go on another ride?" Alex asked, noticing Emma's distraction. Maybe later?" she replied, biting her lip. "I think I need to take care of something first." Alex studied her for a moment. His brow furrowed as if he could see beyond her brave facade. "Let us take a break then." "Huh?" Emma nodded, grateful for his understanding. Together, they found a quiet bench under a twinkling string of lights. As Lily giggled to herself, tugging her duck along, Emma felt the stillness settle over them. "Is it really complicated?" Alex asked softly, breaking the serenity. Emma sighed, her heart aching as she looked at him. "I received a call earlier from someone from my past. Want to talk about it?" he offered. She hesitated, feeling the weight of sharing her burden. But the concern in his eyes was steadfast, creating a spark of trust she hadn't expected. "It's about Jenna," she finally admitted. "She wants to meet. I don't know if I'm ready to confront that." Alex took her hand, his warmth grounding her. "Whatever you decide, I'm here for you. You don't have to face it alone." Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, gratitude washing over her. "Thank you," she whispered. But just as relief slipped in, a sudden cacophony erupted. A ride nearby screeched to a halt, eliciting shouts and laughter from onlookers. Emma's heart raced again, pulses of adrenaline mixing with her unresolved emotions. "I need to think about it," she said, already feeling the urgency of her next steps clawing at her mind. What would she say to Jenna? What would their meeting unearth? As the laughter faded into the night, Emma gazed at the carnival swirling in color and sound, feeling an impending storm in her chest mix with the sweetness of Lily's innocent joy. She had comfort in Alex, but the truth was waiting. What would she find when she finally confronted her past? And would it be the closure she hoped for or something more unpredictable? Emma sat on the bench, the carnival lights flickering, casting a warm glow on her face. Yet, the light seemed to mock her turmoil. Lily, completely absorbed in her new plush duck, was twirling in circles, her laughter ringing like silver bells. Every giggle pulled at Emma's heart, mixing joy with anxiety. "Can we go on the Ferris wheel next?" Lily shouted, excitement spilling over like the candy overflowing at their feet. Alex chuckled, watching her enthusiasm with an adoring glance. "You hear that, Emma? The Ferris wheel it is." Emma smiled weakly, but the thought of being high above the ground, looking down at everything below, filled her with dread. "I think I might need a moment first," she said, her voice coming out softer than intended. "Of course," Alex replied, his expression shifting to one of concern again. "Take all the time you need." She felt a swell of gratitude toward him, warmth that spread through her as if trying to melt away some of her icy worry. But just as she was about to respond, her phone buzzed insistently in her pocket, the vibration feeling like a thunderstorm brewing inside. With hesitant hands, Emma pulled it out. One glance at the screen sent a jolt through her. Jenna had messaged her. Her breath caught, a flutter of panic racing through her veins. "Everything okay?" Alex asked, noticing the sudden shift in her demeanor. Yeah, it's just Jenna," Emma replied, her fingers trembling over the screen. The message was simple but powerful. "Can we talk? I miss you." The world around her faded as she stared at the words, her heart pounding. Miss her? What did that even mean? Memories flooded back, both sweet and painful, each one carrying the weight of their shared history. Lily paused mid-spin, sensing the tension in her mother. "Mommy?" she said, tilting her head. "Are you all right?" Emma swallowed hard, summoning a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Just thinking, sweetie. She took a deep breath and typed a response, but couldn't press send. Instead, she looked up, eyes drawn back to Lily, who was now staring back with wide, innocent eyes. Lily's simple happiness felt magnetic, drawing Emma back from the depths of her worry. Can we go feed the animals? Lily suggested, pointing at a petting zoo surprisingly close. I want to give the goat some of my popcorn. Sure, that sounds fun, Emma replied, feeling lighter with the thought of animal antics taking center stage. How about you, Alex? You in? Definitely. He grinned, and in that moment, with the laughter of children surrounding her, Emma felt a spark of hope as they meandered through the carnival. Emma's heart still carried the weight of Jenna's message. Each step felt both heavy and freeing. She was in the present with Alex and Lily, but the past lingered, like a shadow that refused to lift. Mommy, do you think the goats will like my popcorn? Lily asked, her eyes wide with excitement. I think they will love it. Emma smiled, feeling her daughter's joy seep into her tired soul. But just as they approached the petting zoo, her phone buzzed again, a notification this time, drawing her attention away from the livestock and laughter. She glanced at the screen, and the breath left her lungs. It's Jenna, she whispered, her heart thrumming loudly. Alex noticed the change in her expression and squeezed her hand. Are you okay? Emma looked at him, weighing her honesty against the need to protect Lily's joyful moment. I need to answer this, she said finally. She felt the weight of the decision heavy as she pressed her thumb against the screen. With each second that passed, she wondered what Jenna wanted and whether reopening this chapter of her life would lead to healing or heartbreak. As the goats nibbled at Lily's popcorn, the anxious knot in Emma's gut tightened. She didn't know what lay ahead, but she was standing on the edge, a deep breath away from an answer that could change everything. Could she finally face her past? And would it lead her toward redemption or deeper regret? The carnival lights shimmered like stars, casting a dreamlike glow over Emma's world. But underneath the magic, tension crackled in the air, heavier than the fluffy cotton candy clutched in Lily's tiny hands. As she stared at her phone's screen, heart pounding, she faced a choice she could no longer defer. Mommy? Lily's voice, soft yet piercing, broke her concentration. Emma forced a smile, realizing the weight of her daughter's innocence. Yes, sweetie? Can we go see the goats now? Lily's anticipation filled her eyes, lighting a fire of love in Emma's heart that momentarily overshadowed her fears. She glanced back at the goat pen, where fluffy creatures munched lazily, and suddenly, the decision felt clearer. Let us go see them, Emma said, the words tumbling from her lips with newfound determination. She pocketed her phone, pushing Jenna's ultimatum out of her mind for now. Alex smiled, clearly supportive of any path she chose, and together with Lily trotted toward the petting zoo. Lily dashed ahead, bursting with energy, her laughter pealing into the air like music. Every giggle reminded Emma why she fought through each struggle. As they approached the goats, they were greeted by the sight of playful animals leaping and nibbling. Emma knelt beside Lily, who crouched low with wonder. Look at that one. He is so fluffy. Lily squealed, her joy infectious. Emma watched her daughter interact with the goats, a rush of affection swirling in her heart. She nudged closer to Alex, who stood beside her, entranced by Lily's excitement. You have a wonderful kid, he said, his voice genuine, almost protective. Emma held his gaze, feeling warmth bloom inside. In that moment, the connection between them felt effortless, like a beautiful secret waiting to unfold. Thank you, she whispered, breathless in the face of budding possibilities as the boys playfully jostled each other for popcorn. Emma's heart cracked open just a little more. These moments felt fleeting yet monumental. Was it possible she could build a safe space not just for herself but for Lily? Hey, do you want to join her? Alex suggested, his eyes bright as he pointed to Lily, now giggling as a goat licked her palm. She could use some help feeding them. Emma took a deep breath, remembering the text from Jenna that nagged at her. But for now, she wasn't going to let it overshadow the delight of the present. Sure, she replied, echoing Alex's optimism. Together, they joined Lily, laughter falling freely among the goats' bleats and munching sounds. Emma felt a weight lifting, as if each popcorn toss was a step away from her past. A few joyful moments passed, and just as they were settling into this blissful routine, Emma's phone buzzed again. This time, it vibrated with an urgency that made her heart sink, as if grabbing her from behind. "Do you need to check that?" Alex asked, watching her face closely. "It's Jenna." The words fell like stones, but even the heaviness could not stifle the brightness of the moment. "I think she's upset." Alex nodded knowingly, squeezing her hand gently. "You can do this if you want to. I'm here for you." Emma felt a surge of gratitude. Just like that, she found her resolve again. The bad past didn't have to dictate her future. "All right," she said, as if allowing herself truth for the first time. As soon as they finished with the goats, they wandered under the shimmering lights toward a quieter section of the fair, the distance easing the noise in her head. She gazed into Lily's sparkling eyes, full of innocent anticipation, as she held Alex's hand and felt the warmth from the joy they had shared. "Lily, sweetie, just let me take this call," Emma said, her heart racing. She couldn't put off this conversation any longer. As she stepped away to a quieter corner, she took a deep breath. "Okay, Jenna, I'm listening," Emma said, her voice steady but her heart a whirlwind. On the other end, Jenna's breath was heavy. "Emma, I'm sorry about the way things ended. I miss us. Can we talk about what happened?" As Emma processed her friend's words, she felt a mixture of longing and apprehension. For too long, she had allowed those shadows to cloud her existence. Each moment waiting to address the past had made her heart beat with fear rather than hope. But standing there, buoyed by the laughter and love radiating from the carnival, she understood that clarity was waiting for her beyond this call. "Jenna," Emma said, her voice firm now, "I think we need to talk. But not just about the past. This is about moving forward, together or apart." With that, the first rays of relief flooded her chest. It was time to confront the past, allowing its grip to loosen. Emma felt the pieces falling into place. Alex's kind presence, Lily's joy igniting something new within her. She could face anything, now that she was choosing to step into who she was meant to be. As Emma ended the call, she turned back towards Lily and Alex, the overwhelming gratitude swelling in her heart. The sound of laughter enveloped her again, and as she rejoined them, she realized something profound. The path ahead wasn't about avoiding struggles. It was about embracing support and love. "Ready for another ride?" Alex asked, living in the spirit of adventure. "Absolutely. Let us take on the world," Emma replied, spirit soaring. And as they stepped onto the ride, gazing up at the colorful lights spiraling overhead, she finally felt at peace, knowing she was ready to reclaim her story, one filled with joy, laughter, and an unbreakable bond with the people who mattered most. Don't let your story end here. You need to subscribe now for more incredible transformations like this one. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button to fuel the algorithm. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this beautiful ending. And hurry, share this video immediately with at least 5 friends who need inspiration in their lives. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support is vital, and only true fans understand the importance of it.